of life, passion for life, a love of fine cuisine, and the clap.
Round of applause.
In fact,
yes. You talking about that?
The itchy burning sensations. In fact, I think she just started an online dating profile. She recently joined Herp eHarmony.
Especially funny.
You're not going to Karate Kid that?
Oh, I guess I could.
Thank you very much.
Kristen,
Go on.
Kristen Stewart is dating a woman.
Yeah, that chick from the Twilight movies. Her mom outed her, saying she was bisexual, dating a woman. I could see that. After breaking up with Robert Pattinson, she probably wanted to be with someone more masculine, and she found it. It was a woman. It's funny because Robert Pattinson is a girl, a giant girl. Go on.
Kim Kardashian sharing photos of her daughter's baptism.
Yeah. Not pictured? Kim bursting into flames after accidentally touching the holy water. Guan.
Guan. A new
Hear me now. Guan.
A new Halloween movie is in the works.
Yeah. It's going to ignore the reboot that Rob Zombie did. It's going to pick up as if that never happened.
Did you see that?
So, yeah. No.
Yeah, me neither.
I've never seen any of Rob Zombie's movies, and people, like, we used to have the same manager back in the day, and maybe it's some lingering resentment because rather than tending the shop on our album, our mutual manager was like producing some of Rob's first forays into filmmaking, and there was so much money on the line. I mean, a movie is a budget with $50-60 million. Like we're dealing with tens of millions of dollars, where an album, if you're lucky, even back then, you were getting like $250,000 to $500,000. It's a lot more cash on the line. So his manager, who was our manager, was basically worried about not screwing things up. And so he was paying very close attention and micromanaging Rob Zombie's career as a filmmaker, and sort of let the reins go a little bit on our career. So maybe it's partially some resentment on my part that Rob Zombie's movie making career kind of effed my music career in a way, and maybe it's the fact that I don't like horror movies. Like I don't have a problem with horror movies, I don't find them to be scary. They all look the same, and they all have the same effects in them, and they all have some creepy young little. Like some creepy girl in it, and like it's just they don't do it for me. I find life in general to be terrifying enough, like when you're doing it right, life has enough thrills and chills in it to where I don't find the need to go look for extra ones in the movie theater. I just want to laugh when I go see a movie, and so for that reason I've never seen a single one of Rob Zombie's movies, but I hear some of them are very, very good, and I heard his Halloween remake was pretty solid. But yeah, did you like it?
I didn't see it.
Yeah. But apparently it doesn't matter if you missed it. The new Halloween movie will ignore what Rob Zombie did. A lot like fans of music have been doing for the past 12 years. Go on.
Kim Basinger says women could rule the world if they just stopped having sex with men.
So evidently, the day they get married, most wives launch into a secret plan to rule the world. Snap. No, it wasn't a bear trap. that was shutting so quickly and vigorously. Whammo. That was her legs. Shutting because, she's married. And anyway, go on.
The next Smurf movie will be called Get Smurfy.
Yeah, it's going to be called Get Smurfy by the studio. By America, it would be called Crap That We Won't See. Go on.
Maybe Redbox is what we're calling it. Stolen on YouTube.
Get Smurfy straight to Netflix.
The
Stolen
Biebers
on YouTube. Yeah.
Biebs in the news. Justin Bieber's manager Scooter Braun compared Bieber to Bob Dylan.
Well, I guess nobody really cares about Bob Dylan these days either, so that sort of makes sense.
Baby, no. I know you like me.
Sounded more like Dracula singing a Justin Bieber song. I want to be. I don't know
any lyrics.
Bieber song. Yeah, I don't know it. Wait, I don't know a Justin Bieber song. Wow, because I have a palpable and visible hatred of Justin Bieber. Like I hate Justin Bieber, and I've always hated Justin Bieber. When he first came out, I was like, ugh, I can't stand this little succubus, this little agent of Satan needs to go away. And people are like, come on, man, he's like super talented. Like, he was just discovered on YouTube. There's nothing wrong with what he's doing. He can really sing and he can really play. I was like, no, you don't understand. He's awful. I was like, he's the nicest kid in the world, man. What are you talking about? Give the kid a break. You're a jerk. And then he turned out to be the worst person in the world. And, well, I'm still busy saying I told you so to a bunch of tools that I get to go up to and be like, remember that time you defended Justin Bieber to me about 4 years ago? They're like, yeah, let's not talk about it. I was like, no, let's talk about it at length. Well, I just realized I don't know any Justin Bieber songs except that Baby one, and that's the only Justin Bieber song I know, and I hate him, which means that my hatred of him is based not on his music but him as a person. And I think that is the infinitely hateable part of that annoying little lesbian haircutted spawn of Satan sent to earth via Canada to ruin everything for all of us, who therefore must be stopped. Anyways, yeah, Justin Bieber's manager Scooter Braun compared Bieber to Bob Dylan. Right, because, if there's one person we should always listen to, it's a grown man who refers to himself as Scooter. Go on.
Yeah, guys. Probably sounds like that.
Yeah.
Some are criticizing LeBron James for calling himself the best player in the world.
Oh, you can read more about it in today's edition of Things the New York Knicks Never Say. Sorry, Knicks. Love you. Better luck next year. Go on.
Jeb Bush officially declared his candidacy for president.
Yeah. His slogan, third time's a charm. He didn't have his dad or his brother with him, which is obviously a calculated move. It was smart. I mean, well, that makes sense. If I'm a Jackson and I'm trying to launch a musical career, I'm not going to go bragging about the continuing legacy of Tito and Randy. So that was an interesting move. George W. Bush is supportive of him, though. He said, Jeb will be a much gooder president than me. End quote. I think W wants to do everything he can to get Jeb elected, so he's going into seclusion till November of 2016. Jeb Bush, just...
I painted a picture of him. You want to see it? Look at this picture here, next to a flower. See, he's on a horse.
Bad.
You see that? That's oil. That's what I do in Texas now with oil. Paint pictures
I think, having had the hippie parents and the bohemian upbringing that I had, I think the best way I had of rebelling against my family unit, which every kid does at some stage in the game, was declaring myself a Republican and moving to Texas. It was just the most unthinkable thing to my family, who are sort of like, I don't know, Kennedy light, I suppose is what you'd call my family. And I was a card carrying. Well, I didn't actually have a card, but if I had, I would have carried it. I was a card carrying Republican, and it was easy. I was just like, I'm a Republican. I'm conservative. I support our president. I don't agree with everything he does, but I stand behind him. It was living in Houston during the time of the floods during Hurricane Katrina that I found George Bush to be too much of an idiot to throw my support behind. And it was then I started saying to myself, maybe I'm not a Republican, maybe I'm a conservative independent. And from that, this show sprang. Thanks for hanging out.
I went to private school. I stayed mostly out of trouble. Mostly I obeyed the rules. Upper middle class, so you know I'm not down. Still taking over when I'm rocking this town. Put your hands up if you're loving this sound.
USA Headline News. I'm Kelly Sloan. An apartment balcony has collapsed in Berkeley, California, killing 5 people, and the Irish government says they were all young people from Ireland. 8 others were injured. Public Information Officer Jennifer Coates says authorities aren't sure what caused the collapse.
We will be working with the Berkeley Fire Department as well as city officials like building inspectors so that we can try and determine maybe exactly what happened, if this is, accidental or some other type of incident.
The building has apartments on the upper floors and retail shops on the ground level. The woman who resigned as head of the Spokane, Washington chapter of the NAACP after her parents outed her as white says she started identifying as black around the age of 5. Rachel Dolezal says she takes exception to accusations she tried to deceive people.
It's a little more complex than me identifying as black or answering a question of, are you black or white?
She appeared on NBC's Today Show. This is USA Headline News.
Everyone knows the proper way to start your day is with a long, hot, luxurious shower. That's why we've created ProperSoap.com. We're called Proper because we're properly pure and natural, with no parabens, dyes, or harsh chemicals. 100% pure vegetable soap. We use rich shea butter and olive oil to moisturize naturally. And best of all, we think it's proper to give back. So when you shop ProperSoap.com, you're funding clean water and sanitation programs in villages across the globe. Shop ProperSoap.com and get proper.
For the first time, America's behavior expert Scott Farrell is offering you the Marriage Matrix. The system used for years to help save marriages is now available to you. The Marriage Matrix can save you expense, personal embarrassment, and maybe even save your marriage.
I'm America's behavior expert Scott Farrell. If you really want a shot at saving your marriage, get the Marriage Matrix today, and together, let's do this.
Call now, 844-HELP-US-0. That's 844-HELP-US-0. Or visit ismymarriageworthit.com.
What's trending?
And this update is brought to you by Honda. Start something special with great leases and low financing on a new Honda. Visit shophonda.com or visit your local Honda dealer. In the NHL, Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals saw the Blackhawks shut out the Lightning 2-0. Chicago wins the series 4-2 for their sixth Stanley Cup title in franchise history and the third in the last 6 seasons for them. Corey Crawford, their goalie, had 25 saves in net in the shutout win, and defenseman Duncan Keith, who had the first goal of the game, wins the Conn Smythe Trophy as the playoff MVP. In the NBA, the LA Clippers acquired guard Lance Stevenson from the Charlotte Hornets in exchange for forward Matt Barnes and center Spencer Hawes. The Denver Nuggets have hired Mike Malone as their new head coach. He was formerly head coach of the Sacramento Kings. In baseball games of note, the A's down the Padres 9-1. San Diego loses after firing their manager Bud Black earlier in the day. Mets over the Blue Jays 4-3 in 11 innings. Toronto's 11-game win streak is snapped.
We are iHeartRadio puts the spotlight on AC/DC. Powerade from 1978 became their first album to be released worldwide at the same time. The single Sin City reached number 24, their best charting single at that time. Highway to Hell was AC/DC's big U.S. breakthrough in 1979, reaching number 17 and spawning hit singles Girls Got Rhythm, Touch Too Much, and of course the title track. On February 19th, 1980, Bon Scott passed away. AC/DC considered disbanding, but at the urging of Scott's parents, they decided to continue and brought in Brian Johnson as their new lead singer. 1980's Back in Black was dedicated to Scott and became the band's biggest hit. The title track, Hell's Bells, and You Shook Me All Night Long were all major hits. The album has become the second best-selling album of all time worldwide and the fifth best-selling in the U.S. AC/DC's self-produced album Flick the Switch in 1983 was less successful than their previous releases. After his drum parts were complete, Phil Rudd was dropped from the band and he was replaced by Simon Wright. All things AC/DC, info, music, and more are on iHeartRadio, keyword AC/DC.
Fire up your TV on. Time for the Weekend TV.
On Tuesday, the police drama Rizzoli and Isles returns for season number 6, followed by the premiere of Proof, about a doctor trying to discover secrets of the afterlife. Jennifer Beals and Matthew Modine star, and the pair kicks off Monday at 9/8 Central on USA. Thursday is the premiere of The Astronaut Wives Club, based on the true stories of the women behind our first men in space. Joanna Garcia, Erin Cummins, and Brett Harrison star, and it's on Thursday at 8/7 Central on ABC, followed by the 3rd season premiere of Mistresses. And that's your Weekend TV on iHeartRadio.
Go ahead, favorite the show, and enjoy AD on the go. iHeartRadio presents AD.
Like we said, picture of health and vitality. Of the many tools I received from my parents' genetic contribution to my being, a resistance to ragweed was not one of them. But they gave me a lot. And I think the best gift my parents gave me was the fact that they wanted me. A lot of parents, yeah, not so much. And a lot of parents will do everything they can, go to incredible lengths to avoid any kind of responsibility or involvement in their child's life, which just boggles my mind and is indicative of a much, much larger problem. The example of that I'm thinking of with regard to this is just this guy did something that was so effing devious and far-fetched to get out of paying child support that Well, we'll get into it in just a little bit. Right now, though, let's roll through what remains of the news in our segment, My Witness News, and know